This, as you probably are aware, all of this music was written in the period, as Giuseppe said, of the Italian Risorgimento, Italian uprising, the uprising of the Italian nation, in fact, of a nation that was not Italy, but was occupied by various foreign occupiers, and eventually in 1860, 1861, 1862, they finally got together Italy, ironically under the king of a part of Italy, Piedmont, the part that is closest to France. The kings of Piedmont were the kings of Savoy also, so you have Savoy in southern France. They were at one time kings of that whole area, and the current king was named Victor Emmanuel, and Victor Emmanuel became king of Italy, the first king of Italy. The choice of what kind of government Italy would have was controversial, and Mazzini, Giuseppe Mazzini, was not in favor of a monarchy. He was probably shown to be correct when Victor Emmanuel left off being king of Piedmont and Savoy and became king of Italy for the first king of Italy, with the name Victor Emmanuel II. So to him, Piedmont was more important than Italy. Okay? Mazzini was a Republican. Mazzini wanted a republic, not a monarchy. Mazzini was one of the most important figures in the Risorgimento, but he was ultimately not the winner in this battle. In fact, he died in poverty 10 years after Italy had been unified, having returned to Italy from exile, because he spent most of his life in exile in France, in Switzerland, in England, in the United Kingdom, where he was received with open arms and patronized by the powers that be. He died in 1872 in Pisa, a few months after he returned to Italy. Giuseppe Mazzini died under the name of Dr. Brown because he had to hide his identity, otherwise he would have been prosecuted by the monarchic police. Incidentally, a painting of Mazzini on his deathbed is a beautiful painting, is contained in the Risdi museum. Okay? There is a painting by a well-known Italian painter of the time, Silvestro Lega. It's a beautiful painting of the dead Mazzini on his, right after he, supposedly taken right out after he died. So I don't know if you're familiar with the museum, the Risdi Museum. This is just one of the unexpected treasures that it has. It's a wonderful museum, small but extremely, everything in there is exquisite. Okay, we are talking today in the 150th anniversary of Italian Unification and the 140th anniversary of Mazzini's death. And Mazzini was, like Giuseppe, also named Giuseppe, second Giuseppe, he was also, in addition to being a politician, an organizer of revolt against the status quo in Italy, he was also a guitar player in his spare time. He had an excellent training in the guitar, and a great deal of his correspondence anyway, it consists of letters to his mother, who was back in Genoa, which is where he was born, asking her to send him music for the guitar that he had in his library there, which he had been exiled from, or asking people to purchase new compositions for the guitar. So he was a contemporary of Paganini. Okay? Paganini, the great violinist, guitarist, violist, and so on. His letters contain many references to composers and musicians. His works occupy 18 volumes, his written works, and another author, getting into too many details, Marco Aurelio Saffi, was the editor of 10 of those volumes. Mazzini lived long enough to edit the first 6, and then Saffi, who was a great admirer of his, among these works is an essay on the philosophy of music, by the way. And so Saffi says of him, whenever Mazzini found himself alone and with no one around to hear him, sometimes during the day, sometimes late at night, Mazzini would sing sotto voce, accompany himself on the guitar in a way that penetrated to your very heart. I recall the vivid impression that hearing him sing like that made on me when we were together in Rome. This was the height of Mazzini's career, when he became one of the triumvirate that ruled Rome briefly. At the time of the Roman Republic, he was a Republican, in a quiet moment in his private rooms in the Palace of Government.